We were in negotiations.
Investing in real estate.
They're winning, they're making money.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Real Estate Educators Podcast, where we provide the education you can build on. I am your host, Kevin Amolsch. This podcast is different than anything I've ever seen or anything that I've ever experienced because we not only focus on real estate investors, but on the content creation behind it. We want to help real estate investors and real estate influencers make more money. I have an awesome guest with me today. Actually, before we introduce my friend Jim, I should say, if you like what you hear, leave me a 5-star review and share it with a buddy. All right, Jim. He's been in real estate quite a while. I remember you and I, you came and spoke at one of our events. Gosh, what was that?
Way back
a decade ago, right? I was like
2012.
11 years ago.
I had none of this back then.
Clean shaven back then. Yeah, things have changed, haven't they? But you've been in the game for a little while. You're running a couple of meetups, some your online, what is it, Clubhouse that you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the Invest Success and some like one-on-one coaching. So you've got quite a bit of experience on your own and helping other investors. So welcome to the show, man.
Glad to be here, brother. Glad to be here.
All right. So the way this works,
I've been loving Pine Financial since 2012, and I've tried to point a lot of people to you guys. Appreciate what you're doing.
And we appreciate that. And we're trying to do the same for you guys because we appreciate what you're doing for the community, which is exactly what I want to talk about today. So how I like to do this, Jim, is have you introduce yourself. So let's hear your story and your journey and how you got into the real estate game.
Okay, that's cool. I'm retired Coast Guard, and I spent 20 years in the Coast Guard, not because I was making a lot of money, but there was this element of search and rescue, helping distressed people and helping my fellow man. And that's carried over into everything I've done since then. After 20 years, it kind of gets ingrained in there. But I started getting into real estate investing back in 2012. I attended the first meeting of a group that evolved into the Investors Network community with Katie Fleming. And that's when she introduced me to you guys, and I went down and Nan, she was talking about your fund. So I was going down to find out about that. But I remember going down to your South Denver meetup. I'd go up to Loveland to Justin's meetup. I was trying to take every class you guys had to offer, learning all about hard money with Pine. Got into later, I was working at IBM. I got laid off. So I had this huge 401k that they never made money with, just me contributing. And they matched my contribution. That was the only way I was making money there. But I took that and converted it into fund and started doing some private lending. But I got involved with Katie. And then since then, when COVID hit, everything kind of went kind of crazy. So Katie took the name and she went and followed her passion, was doing mastermind groups. And I took the family and created Realty Investors Group, RIG or RIG. And we meet twice a month in a brewery, and we have all level of investors. And, when the seasoned person comes in, I've been doing this 20 years, it's like, welcome, great, we'll learn together. We'll still learn together. And I get just as excited when the new people coming in going, hey, I'm here to check this stuff out. Because, I started that in 2012. It wasn't that long ago. So I love the excitement of bringing in new people and matching them up with seasoned investors. And back in July of last year, so we're coming up on a year almost, I joined Tim Emery and Invest Success, and we host the John Fisher's Breakfast Club once a month. And we also do, as you said, one-on-one, face-to-face coaching and mentoring. We have a 12-month program where, again, these are all, pretty much all new people coming in, but we've got a lot of seasoned investors that are actually taking our class. One of the guys in the class, he's got 2 flips going on right now, and he's done 6 before. So, and one of our new students was like, well, why are you here? He goes, well, you can always learn new stuff. I'm trying to scale up. And he goes, plus sitting in this room, I'm learning from new people. I'm learning from experienced people. And Howie from Pine's part of that class right now. He's going through it. So he's like, I've got a hard money guy sitting right here. And on this side, there's this lady, this private money can maybe fill in the cracks. But it's all about helping. And I like to say, I love working with people that's trying to figure it out. Because, when I started, I thought I had to get my little black book, and make all my notes and keep all my secret stuff to myself. And I found out real quickly it's not like that. In Denver, the investors are very quick to work together, share information, share knowledge, and mainly work together. It's a big enough sandbox for us all to play well together. So that's about.
It's interesting you say that in Denver. I don't want to get too far away from your story because I want to go back to that. But you say in Denver, I found that across the country. Like the real estate investment community. I mean, you have your bad apples in every industry, right? But I've really found that the real estate investment community, everywhere in the country I've been, is so open and welcoming and friendly and supportive. I mean, it doesn't feel like a competitive environment to me.
Right. Well, you mentioned Clubhouse, and before I was dealing with our two groups here in the Denver area, kind of locked into that. When I started doing some of my private money lending, I was, advertising nationwide, and I got leads nationwide. But recently with Invest Success, we're trying to do a franchise. So we actually attended a couple of shows, one in Kansas City, and we went to Philadelphia for a weekend, and we went in and, I met a lot of people that I'd met on Clubhouse there in person. It was like a family reunion. But even with the new people in Philadelphia, it just, we gelled real quick. It's one thing cool about investors. I mean, the good ones. There are some bad ones, as you said, and there's some crazy ones out there. But the good people, they come together, and it's just so overwhelming and so surprising how open everybody is.
Yeah,
now,
I found that.
Talk about the deal they're working on today, but they'll talk about processes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you have the my fish was bigger than yours kind of thing still, but for the most part, it's like I've seen the most successful investors make their success or make the most money when they co-op, right? Where they work with each other. Maybe that's wholesaling a deal to somebody else or partnering to do something a little bit larger. I remember in our office when we did our first development, it was like a 7 or 8 townhome development. We built it from the ground up, and it was a little bit too big for me at the time to do that. But I brought in Travis and Justin and other people in my office, and together we were strong enough to build that thing, and we all made some money. So I think the community coming together is, and you do a lot of that. I think it's fantastic.
I do have a lot of irons to fire. I thought I was going to take today off, and I sat down at the computer and, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this.
But you're loving it, aren't you?
I am. I'm home in shorts, and I won't stand up. I'm in shorts and t-shirt. I slept in late. I woke up. I had a series of phone calls. I laid in bed for 2 hours on the phone talking and sending texts. My wife said, "Are you going to get up?" It's like, I've been working for 2 hours. I love what this type of I don't even want to call it work, but the stuff that we're doing, whatever it is, it gives you a lot of freedom. I get to go hang out with you guys at the brewery across the street, a couple months, like, hey, let's get together and talk. One of our students is, hey, I got this house, look at the numbers. We'll look at the numbers and compare and look at some comps. And either we'll say, in 10 minutes ago, that's not a deal, or, you know what, we'll meet you at the house in a couple hours and we'll walk through it. So I love the freedom of what we do allows us.
Okay, so let's go back to the IBM days, or right at the end of that, and you were getting laid off and you had the 401k and all that. Then you went and met with Katie and her group and you got excited about real estate. Mm-hmm. But there's a gap there that I'm missing, Jim. What got you excited or interested in real estate to begin with?
It goes back to my days in Mobile, Alabama. I was working in a hospital, and there's this one particular guy, Tim. He used to go, hey, I got to go work on my flip this weekend. I'm like, what? My flip? Well, what are you talking about? I buy ugly houses. I put work into them, and I rent them out. I get checks every month. And he kept talking about it over and over. And it was like he was having fun doing it. He was a younger guy. That was a few years ago. And then watching late night TV when one of those old famous guys, Carlton Sheets, came on.
Yeah, he got you, huh?
He got me. I'm like, ooh, ah. I ordered his set I don't remember if it had to have been CDs because I listened to them in the truck on the trip, but I got it and I started listening to it. And I probably listened halfway through and going, this is really cool, but it's not realistic. Because, they always say, they show them sitting around yachts and mansions. And I'm like, I'm not there. So I kind of put it away, forgot about it. Fast forward a few years. I'm out here in Colorado sitting in my IDM desk. And again, the guy sitting across from me is like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm going to work on my flips. I'm like, you're the second person I've heard that. And he says, yeah, I've got like 6 of them. I got 7 of them. I get this monthly check, I enjoy going doing the work. And I've totally rehabbed a house of my own before. I mean, I gutted it out, tore out walls, did the wiring, everything. It was like, well, I had fun doing that. And I can make money doing that. So I broke out those Carlton Sheets CDs, and our family drove from Denver, Colorado to Southeast Georgia for Christmas. And I tortured everybody in the truck because I listened to the first half nonstop and going, yeah, I'm driving, and yeah. And the autopilot, like, please, anything. We'll listen to whatever you stop. So we did the trip. Coming back, I listened to the other half. And one of the big things that Carlton Sheets had said was get into your local groups. And also did a introductory, a free trip, free night with Rich Dad Poor Dad. And we spent for the weekend process. And again, the guy that was teaching us, he was like, get involved in your local groups, network. And that's when I went and found Katie. I did I guess it was an Eventbrite search. I found her, and I was there for her very first meeting in a coffee shop. It was 6 people. And now that group has grown quite a bit. Our Facebook group, I think we're coming up on 3,800 people nationwide, not just here in the Denver area, but it grew. And then finally I started going to see you guys, and then finally was like, I gotta get into it. So I used to go to a lot of stuff that iRock had a while back. Brad Podowski, with everything he had to offer. I paid for some classes and different stuff. I did the Anthony Chara multifamily, and I'm still kind of a little bit. And actually, I went on to pass that, and I was a syndicated partner for 2 apartment complexes. I had 3 houses out of state, all that working with partners, and I've worked the foreclosure market. I've worked that's the mad crowd. Big man.
That's how I got started, so I can relate.
And then I'm like, these guys are just too mad. They're pissed off. So I switched over to the probate crowd. That's the sad crowd. Somebody died, and I found I had a niche for motivating other people in the family to step up and take the projects. Because I'd come in, I'm like, this is what your house is worth, but I've got to put this much money, this much work into it. And and I would make a price trying to make it where it was a win-win-win. That was the biggest key I learned in the Rich Dad thing is don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. If you're going to help somebody with a distressed home, you're helping them. Again, that Coast Guard mentality. I want to go rescue them, help them. It needs to be a win for them. I need to make money to keep food on the table because I go through a lot of it. And if hopefully when I get it fixed up and looking pretty, who knows, I may have a first-time home buyer and a young couple that may be having a hard time finding a house. So it needs to be a win for them. So that's kind of carried over. But I've done a lot of different things. But here lately, I'm staying busy running the groups. And like I say, with our coaching program, we've got 12 students going through right now. I think we've got 6 active flips going through. And these guys are on the phone all the time. And, one of the guys is like, well, hey, you're a coach, you're doing this, you find all these great deals. Why don't you take the deal? And it's like, our goal in life is to make you successful. So when we find these good deals, we're getting tons of them sent to us, or deals, we won't say good, but we'll go through them and then be like, okay, this has got meat on the bones. It looks good. We'll send it out to our students and go, you look at it, you evaluate it, then let's talk about it. And we talk them through every step of the way. Now, when all the students get, maybe 1 or 2 houses going, maybe we'll pick some up. But we're busy keeping our students busy. And I'm enjoying it because, we had one student went into a house. We did a Saturday property tour. We spent 2 hours in the first house. We walked through it, every room going, we don't just walk out, we're going to paint it, change carpet, and that's it. And it was like, let's tear this wall out. Let's add a bath. Let's convert this bath or garage into a master bedroom and master bath. we get pretty creative and pretty crazy, but we talked them through that. But we went to there one day, and one of our new students is like, this is a really good deal. And it's like, yeah, after you do all the cost of the money, the rehab, everything, he was looking at 135K profit. And he was like, this is a good deal. And we're all
That's
like,
a fantastic deal. Do that one.
I'm like, if you don't get it, one of these others, I said, you're next in line. So we're trying to keep you going. And several guys like, if you don't get it, we're going to take it. But he took it finally, but he was real scared. But
That's scary, right?
I told him, I said, you're at the pool. There's this really nice high dive. You've climbed up nervously. You walked out the edge of the dive board. Your toes are hanging on. You go, man, that water looks so pretty, but I can't jump. I said, I'm going to come up behind you, push you off. You're going to hit the water. I said, sit down on the side of the pool. There's Tim down there. He's your lifeguard. I said, we're going to go through this every step of the way.
Yeah,
So
it might sting a little bit when you hit the ground, but you're going to survive.
you hit that cold water and go, whoa. But he calmed down. He says, okay, I'm putting an offer in. He made the contract. He got the house. And then I guess it was about a month, 2 months later, we went back and held a class in that house. He had this demolition going, and he was walking. What we do is we hold our houses and active projects. Whoever owns it will go through. Yeah, I took this wall out. I took this fireplace out. I did this. I did that. And he was going through it. And he goes, my wife is doing suggest. He was like a kid at Christmas. He was
It's so fun.
So much fun. I'm like, it is. And you're going to make money. So I love seeing that and being a part of that and helping. But same guy, he came to us. He would send us, I'm sorry for the lights keep going. He would send us probably 10 deals a week he got. And we're like, no.
Remember you telling me about him. Yeah, good for him.
And yeah, he would say, I don't think this is a good deal. And we're like, we were waiting for you to say that about 8 minutes ago. But guess what? He doesn't do that anymore. Now he knows how to pick them out.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see our kids grow up.
Totally. So the rig, and it sounds like to me, Jim, that you're more passionate about the one-on-one hand-holding coaching, like dragging them to the finish line, helping them make money. But you have this rig thing going on too, and that's sort of helping people, but it's more networking than it is like coaching, right? So tell us about rig.
So we're Rig Realty Investors Group. We meet in the brewery second Tuesday of the month.
It's great beer, by the way. I love that.
Good beverages, good food, and we say good networking. And, with Katie, we always tried to be a little bit different. And a lot of people come and always said, you guys are different. And I got one lady, Shauna Green, everywhere she goes, like, Rig is my favorite. So I love her. She's my diamond member. But we come together, we have a time of networking, you eat, you drink. And like all groups, everybody gets to do an elevator speech. So you get to say, I am, I need, I got. And then we usually have we always have a dedicated speaker. So we have an hour to 90 minutes of education. You were there and did a great job.
Thank you.
And then more networking. They kick us out at 10:30. And there's usually about 3 or 4 of us that move out to the parking lot. We're out there a couple hours still talking about how can we make money networking? Let's get this project. Let's do money together. And it's all about networking. And I tell everybody, I said, I make some money off of that. And then when I told Katie, I said, I'll take Rig and move forward. And she said, you got to step up the bat and you got to be more active. And you're like planning. I'm like, yeah, I got it. I said, as long as it pays for itself, I'll do it. Because I love the people in there. I tell them every month, it's like, you guys are my family. I love you. And I care about them. So when we do have some, we'll say not so great players come in, I've asked some like, thanks, but no thanks. And, we've heard of people doing our members questionable deals, and we've tracked them down. You and I had a conversation about a certain player in Denver a couple of years ago, I believe it was now. And it was like, now that's my family. I got to protect them. And
that's right.
And people, we'll have a meeting, second Tuesday month. I get 3 weeks out. Hey, Jim, remember so-and-so that does X, Y, Z? I'm like, hang on a minute. Yeah, it's Susie May. Yeah, here.
The Real Estate Educators Podcast is brought to you by Pine Financial Group. Pine Financial Group is a private lender specializing in value-add bridge lending for real estate investors. This is accomplished by raising private money from individual investors and lending that money out in short-term real estate loans. Pine operates one of the coolest public mortgage funds on the market because it brings consistency and security to your investment portfolio without giving up on returns. The fund pays its investors a flat 8% return with monthly distributions. There is a low minimum investment and no lockup period. That's right. You can request all of your money back at any time without any fees. Diversify your portfolio out of Wall Street and into Main Street with the Pine Financial Group Public Fund PFG Fund 5. Find out more at pinefinancialgroup.com. That's pinefinancialgroup.com. Yeah. I feel very comfortable in that room, Jim. Like everyone seems so caring. Like it really did feel like a legit community. Like everyone was part of something bigger than themselves. You don't usually see that with real estate investment clubs. Now, maybe it's because yours is a little smaller, more intimate. Maybe it's because of the Christmas party and the summer barbecue and some of the outside the room activities that you guys do, but you've done a fantastic job making it a community.
Yeah, it's family. A lot of the people work together. I mean, our insurance lady, she works with everybody. We've got you guys money. Whenever he says I need money, I'm like, Pine's right down the road. I've known them for over 12 years. I invest in their fund. And you guys don't talk about it. Well, you do, but the guys are real about that the investment fund. I'm like, my wife came from Taiwan and had money to invest. And she went to a bank. She goes, CDs, that's where I'm putting. No risk. I'm like, all right. So we went to the bank. She goes, I want to put this money in a CD. And the bank teller goes, no, I'm not going to sell it to you. It's like, what? It's not a good place to put your money. And then that was when we were going down.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we went to one of your classes, and you were talking about being the bank and the 3 ways to invest and buy real estate: all cash and borrowed money, or all borrowed money. And then at the end, you're like, why not be the bank? We have this fund. She put it in there, happy with it. My stepson, a couple of years later, went on the road with me doing some computer work. He'd come back with a big bag of money at the end of the summer. He joined your fund, and finally is like, well, I need to put some of my own money in there. And I was looking today, I may be calling you about move some more money into there because it's very, my wife's like, is it risk free? I'm like, there is nothing that's risk free. It's low risk, and it's set it, forget it. And I've been pleased, and she's been pleased, and he's been pleased. So, but yeah,
I appreciate the plug there. Yeah, we have decided as a company to make capital preservation the number one priority. So we give up a little bit in returns, and our investors give up maybe a little bit in returns. It's still a healthy return, right? But it's a conservative return that we know we could hit. And so I think that's why it's been so consistent over the last 15 years.
Consistent is the word, brother. Consistent is the word.
It's consistent.
I call it the whole Ronco commercial: set it and forget it. And I just look at the bank. Oh, there's another deposit. Oh, there's another deposit. I think her and him, my son, they had it reinvesting. So it just grew. And they're watching and going, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's my retirement fund. I'm pulling it out there, but that goes back and makes that grow. But it's set it and forget it. I mean, I also do private lending, like I say, is where you may do the bulk of it, and they're starting like, oh, we hit a snag. We open that wall up, need some more money. It's like, oh, yeah. Get over the finish line. That's where I'll come in with my private funds and help them. But, I may do good for a couple of months, and then it may sit in the bank for a couple of months. And that drives me crazy. It's like, well, it's not doing anything in the bank. So, especially with the fund that I've got, they don't pay interest. So.
Yeah, that works pretty well when you have like a line of credit or something, and you could just pay it off. So you're not like losing money to inflation like you do when you're in a savings account.
Right.
But when it's liquid in a savings account, I'm with you. When I have money just sitting there, it bothers me a little bit too. Now, obviously, you want your little cushion, so not to get off on a tangent, but yeah, you want to make sure that money's working for you. But let's get back to you, Jim. So Clubhouse. I was on Clubhouse also. I've never even heard of this thing, to be quite honest with you. I downloaded the app and I'm like, okay, how does this work? And I'm like, a little bit nervous, like Jim wants me on his Clubhouse. I don't know what to do. And I get on there and it's a little bit unique because it's different than what like we're doing right here where I could see you, right? And this is a video.
PowerPoint. Yeah.
Yeah, no PowerPoint. No, it's honestly just like old-fashioned conference call, right?
Yeah.
And you just do a bridge line and that's basically what it is, the app on your phone. And you built a little community with that. So tell us a little bit about Clubhouse. What is it and what are you doing with it?
I've heard a couple of people said it's much like talk radio. Hey, it's my show. Welcome to the show. I got a speaker today, and listeners can come up on the stage and throw questions at you. But it's kind of like a live talk show. It's a free app. I started last August. I've been coming up on 10 months. It's nationwide. So what I do, I do it under the rig flag there, but things I won't let people get away with in my rig meeting, I'll let them do it there because we're all just coming together. But I met a lot of people on the app that in going to Philadelphia for a show. I met them in person. There was a large group that came to Denver last year. I got to meet them, hang out. So we're all like family. I was trying to get a group trip of rig investors to go down to Belize in this past February. And I put it out in Clubhouse and say, hey, anybody in the country go across? Well, Dave and I went down, and next thing I know, I get a text from this lady from Boston. She goes, I'm on my way. I'm like, no, you're not. Yes, I am. I'm in Miami. I'm like, okay, we'll see.
You really are on your way.
It's like, I'll pick you up at the airport. So she hung out with us, and we spent, I think she was down there about 3 days with us, and we just talked investing. And it was like cousin I hadn't seen in 10 years. It was just boom. But what it is, there's used to be clubs. Now they're houses. You join different houses, and we schedule a call every Thursday night at 6:00 Mountain Time. As a matter of fact, I got one tonight. Invest Success. Tim leads a call every Tuesday morning at 9:30, and we each pick a different subject. And Tim kind of runs the show himself. Talk. I like to come in like I did with you and I'll pick a subject and bring an expert in, and here you go, Kevin, take it away. And I think the shortest call has been about an hour. One night we went 4.5 hours. Of all things, talking about taxes, but we were talking about how not to pay taxes.
Yeah. That topic is very fascinating to people.
I used to I don't want to hear about that, but now that I've got money in places and I need to spend it correctly and put it in certain pockets, it was good to hear from him. But he went 4.5 hours, and we had people from all over the country. And like I say, at that time, I would start at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 10 Eastern. But I had a large following on the East Coast would stay up all night with me.
That's how it was on our call. Yeah, everyone was from the East Coast, and I'm like, I'm getting tired, guys. I don't know how you're doing it.
And I got a couple of my moderators. They'll pop in. I'll mod them and bring them up from the stage. And I jokingly, when I'm the last half, and I go around like, okay, let's reset the room. Everybody say hello. Who you are, where you're at, what you're doing. It's like, Rumana, you awake? Romana, okay, she's asleep. But
great.
it's again, it's another, and there's some Jerry Springer stuff out there that you want to. It's just pure crazy. Shock jock radio, crap. There's a lot of crap on there, but there's a lot of good quality rooms on there and discussions about real estate investing, about making money, doing flips, doing subject to, you name the subject, they're out there. And then, like I say, the biggest part is it's free. You can put it on the cell phone, you can put it on your computer, and I love it. It's my wife's like, are you making any money off this? It's like, well, I'm making connections. I have brought people together. A young lady was on the East Coast. She goes, I got a friend in Aspen, Colorado that's got a condo she needs to sell. And I'm like, I'm in Colorado. I know a friend that's looking for a condo, and he wound up buying her condo. And then she went out here in November for that group, and she got to meet him. J.H. Bridge was the guy. He bought that condo. There's been other times where somebody in Florida goes, I need. Is like, well, I know somebody in Texas who can help you. And so, I love bringing people together, networking. In Clubhouse has allowed me to go nationwide. So It's been cool.
So that's a good question that your wife had for you if you're making any money. So you're doing all of this work. I see it. You're working your ass off. Success, Invest Success, John Fisher's Breakfast Club, Clubhouse, Rig. Am I missing anything?
Well, I do some IT stuff on the side.
You just might do stuff on the side. So of those 4 communities that you're building, tell me about the benefit to you, like your personal business, your personal finances. Like how does educating and helping other investors helped you?
Well, the number one is that satisfaction inside knowing I've helped somebody. Private lending, I've helped my friends, and all my private lending so far has actually been people I know. So I've got a little less risk there. I got confidence in them. My first person was Katie Fleming. I've loaned money on her to her. I think it was 2 flips, and that's when my wife was at my first loan. She was like, "Oh, do you trust Katie?" I'm like, "Yeah, I trust Katie. She's like a sister. Yes, I trust her." And then it started going, so I'd have to show her the deposits. Look, she's paying. Ooh, she's paying. And then at one point, she's like, "Hey, it ran a little long. We opened the walls and found things we weren't expecting. Is it okay if I go extend the loan?" I'm like, "You're gonna keep making those monthly payments?" She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Please do." I said, "Because you keep paying off, it's going back to the bank and not do anything." But she's come along. But I've made some money. It's helped my retirement fund. The network. I mean, if you say I need an electrician, I got an electrician. You need a roofer, I got a roofer. But it's not just names, but it's people I know. I'm all about making friends. I maybe everybody says I make friends too easy, too fast, but it's like until they prove me wrong, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. But I've my knowledge has grown. My personal circle of friends have grown. I've got some people I've come to count as a close brother now because of doing this. I get to see the creative juices of other people walk into an ugly house, something small and outdated, and just no, you're not. Nobody's gonna live here. And they go in and blow out walls, and wow, we were in a class. What was it? A couple of weeks ago, and these were 2 seasons. One is the actual construction guy, and his father's an agent. He's been doing houses for a while, but again, they were like, "Why are you here?" Because, well, I've been doing it. You can still continue to learn. It's good to have somebody looking over your shoulder but I'm trying to bring my son in and learn this side of the business, and we're doing it together. But we were walking through the house and going, "Oh yeah," and Tim goes, "I didn't think you were going to do that, but that's good." Or I didn't think, "Oh wow, that's good." We walked around and went to the primary bathroom. We can't say master bathroom anymore here. I'm trying to learn not to say master bathroom or master bedroom.
I still say that. I don't know. Is that not PC? I don't know.
You're going to beep, 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 beep. Yeah. We went to the big bathroom, and Tim walked around and goes like, "Shit." And Vern's like, "What? What's wrong? What's wrong?" He goes, "Nothing." He goes, "I don't normally use colorful language, but this blowed me away. You really surprised me to see that coming, even from
That's cool.
Even from Tim going, "Wow, I didn't think about this." So we're always learning together.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
House, another couple, they were in the part of the program within a month, had a house going. Tim went with him to walk through the house and go, "This is a good deal," or "It's a good deal." They jumped on it. We went back about a couple of weeks later, and they'd already done the demo and stripped out, and they're like, "We're going to do this with this room." And he goes, "I never thought about doing that." So we're always it's exciting. It's exciting. It's constant. So yeah, I've made some money. I've educated. I've got friends, and Jim's still learning.
Yeah, I'm doing this 20 years. So I'm still learning.
Yeah.
So tell me about this franchise thing. I know when we had some beers not that long ago, you were pretty excited about it, and you did a little trip and had a little booth, and you were trying to sell some franchises. So tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, Invest Success started by John Fisher, way back, I guess about 12 years ago, even longer than that.
No longer than that, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the day. It was probably around 2010, roughly. He took one of the gurus courses, learned it, and started putting it to work in Denver, and started establishing his systems, his processes, and his spreadsheets and tools And then he started mentoring, and he had a heart of giving back to people and caring about making them successful. So he started the Breakfast Club. That's where Tim met him. Tim went into a couple of breakfasts, and Tim actually created a property management company out of the John Fisher Breakfast Club, because it was like, I want to manage, and all these people started giving him properties. Well, John was diagnosed with cancer and pretty much died almost immediately. And Tim was like, "What's going to happen to the breakfast?" He went to Lauren, his wife, and go, "What is going to happen?" She goes, "I guess die on the vine. John's gone. That's it. I'm not going to run this." And so Tim talked to him, worked out a deal, and he purchased it. And then he's carrying on Invest Success in John's honor. And we have the John Fisher Breakfast Club still, Invest Success still, and we've been going. We've been so successful, and we've got some really good rock star stories out there. And it's like, Tim was like, we can take this and go to other cities and multiply. So that was his dream for a while. And I came in, I'm like, let's do it. So we're marketing out nationwide. We're going to be very selective in we interview our people closely because we want them to be a success. But we'll bring them to Denver, take them through the course, train them, teach them everything, and then we'll actually go to their city and help them get started. And I think we've got a lady from Kansas coming in next month. I think she's going to sign up. She's coming to do the hands-on tour. And we've also got some friends that are up in North Colorado that may be doing one. So, and I may be crazy, but it's like, as long as your nights will stagger, I'll go up to all your events too, because I love getting out with these people. So talking about not enough time now, I may not, sleep's overrated. You don't need sleep.
Not when you could work from bed for 2 hours every morning.
Not every morning, but got a schedule. I woke up, all right, called in the morning. Yeah. And then I did some emails. But anyway, we are looking at franchising and going nationwide. And we're going to start doing some traveling around, doing some trade shows, summits with Realty 411 magazine. She travels all over the country. We're going to travel with her. We went to Philly. There's one in Dallas, I believe, coming up. There's one in New York, Connecticut, and they're going back to Philly. And of course, she does a big show in California. That's where she's from. And we were so excited about being a part of the one in Philly that we actually said, "Hey, we want to bring you to Denver." We're like, "Yeah, okay." And Tim's like, "We'll handle it. We'll put it together." And whereas her show was a one-day event, we're stretching it out, kicking off Thursday night with a VIP happy hour with everybody. And we've got stuff planned all day Friday, all day Saturday. Lunches will be included. Dinners are included. Saturday night, we're going to have a private jazz show at Dazzle. We'll, of course, have our breakfast Saturday morning. Then we'll go to the expo or the summit. Then we'll come back for a big dinner. We're going to do the standard bus tour around the city on Sunday. Monday, if anybody's sticking around, we're going to take a charter bus and go skiing. And then Tuesday, of course, will be rigged, but it'll be a long weekend. But we got that coming up, and it's just another effort to kind of promote franchise and let them, while they're in Denver, see what we're all about.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we got to wrap up here. We're going a little bit longer than we normally do, Jim, but I really appreciate everything that you do for me, for the community, for Pine Financial. Appreciate you being on the podcast and sharing your wisdom with us. I want to know how to get a hold of you, but you have so many things on your plate. Like where do we send people? Like
which email?
What do you want people to do? What is your call to action?
Call me at Invest Success, J Edenfield. That's JEDENFIELD at invest-success.com. And I can answer questions about RIG, the Breakfast Club, our mentorship, the franchise, everything. Or if you just want to talk about money, you got questions about Kevin, call me out.
Your event, they can get more information about the event coming up.
Yes, you go to Invest Success. And I've got it on the RIG too. We got a very active Facebook for RIG. I think I said about 3,800 people nationwide. And we'll be promoting the summit there. Also, if you're a speaker or a vendor would like to have a table, we're trying to get Kevin there, Pine Financial, but we're looking for speakers, vendors, and sponsors for the weekend. So But even if you're in the area and I think I want to be an investor, come on to the meetings, because network. That's what it's all about. And one other thing, you may hear that fake it till you make it. That's crap. Don't do that. Just walk into a meeting and go, Kevin, I'm new. I'm here. I want to learn. I hear you do hard money. Can you tell me about hard money? Or I hear Joe Bob does fix and flips. How do you do your fix? You'd be surprised at how many people will sit down and talk with you and share good knowledge with you and not cost you a penny. So, and plus you're out there learning who's out there, who you can work with, who you can help. So network. You can get that education and dive in. The water's fine.
That's a fantastic piece of advice right at the very end here. And the event is March, right? It's March
2024. That's right. And we got the breakfast.
What days?
March 8th through March 12th. And if you go Invest Success, you'll see it's the Great Mile High Real Estate Investors Summit. March. We're looking at probably about 300 to 500 people.
Sounds great. Okay. Well, we know how to get a hold of you. We have the information on the event. We learned about Clubhouse and RIG and Success Summit, or the Success Invest Success. I'm putting Success on I wrote in my notes here because that's what we put on as our Success Summit, but your Invest Success.
Yours is a little tongue tired too. I did a short video at the happy hour that like successful investors. I couldn't spit it out.
Well, Jim, you're fantastic. We appreciate everything. We'll catch you on the next one. See you later.
Hope to see you soon. We'll have a beer again soon.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. If you did, please be sure to follow and leave us a review. Oh yeah, and tell a friend.